Okay, so let's just picture this for a second. The year is 1645. We're in Japan,
Right.
high up on a mountain inside this cave. And there's a man sitting there. He's 60. His health is failing. And he knows the clock is ticking.
But this isn't some frail scholar we're talking about.
No, not at all. This is a man who fought his first duel to the death when he was just 13 years old and won.
Which is terrifying if you really stop to think about it. 13.
Right. And he didn't stop. By the time he hit 29, he'd fought over 60 duels. Some people say more. And he never lost.
Not once.
He is Miyamoto Musashi, the undefeated sword saint. And he's in this cave to write down exactly how he did it. He wants to get his way of strategy on paper before he's gone.
It's one of the most compelling setups for any book ever. You have this ultimate pragmatist, this survivalist, distilling a lifetime of violence into 5 scrolls, the Book of 5 Rings.
Yeah.
And the reason it's still so relevant isn't the sword techniques. I mean, nobody listening is planning to fight a samurai tomorrow.
I certainly hope not.
Exactly. It endures because Musashi frames combat as a metaphor for mastering, well, anything. He says, if you know the way broadly, you will see it in everything.
And that's our mission here. We're not just looking at how to swing a sword. We're trying to extract the mindset of this undefeated strategist, this operating system he built, broken down into 5 elements: ground, water, fire, wind, and void.
And a really key thing to remember as we dive in is that Musashi was a practitioner, not a theorist. If an idea didn't work when someone was actively trying to kill him, he threw it out. This is a manual on pure effectiveness.
So let's start where he starts, the ground book, the foundation. And I got to be honest, this immediately threw me for a loop. I expected to talk about honor or spirit.
Right.
Instead, he spends pages talking about carpentry.
It's jarring, isn't it? The greatest swordsman in Japan, and he's comparing himself to a guy building a house.
He gets so specific, too. He says the master carpenter has to know the laws of the country, the rules of houses, and most importantly, his materials.
It sounds humble, but it's incredibly practical. He's stripping the glory out of war. He's saying strategy is just construction. You have a plan, and you have your materials, and for him, the materials are people.
He even breaks down the timber. You use the straight, perfect timber for the main pillars that everyone sees.
The ones out in front.
Exactly. Then the timber with small knots, that's for the inside pillars. And the really gnarly twisted wood, that's just scaffolding or firewood.
And that, right there, is a master class in leadership. If you're the master carpenter, your job is to know which timber fits which role.
You can't use twisted wood for a support beam.
No, the whole house collapses. And it's not a moral judgment for him. It's just structural physics. This person is suited for this task, that person for another. Don't mix them up.
He says you have to see people for what they are, not what you wish they were. Ground yourself in the reality of your resources.
He even zooms out and categorizes society into 4 ways: the farmer, the merchant, the artisan, and the warrior. And he's pretty cynical about the merchant.
He is, isn't he? He just says their way is to live by taking profit.
Purely transactional. But he contrasts that with the way of the warrior, which he defines as the resolute acceptance of death.
That's such a heavy concept to just drop in chapter 1. To a modern ear, it almost sounds fatalistic.
It does, but what he means is it's about removing hesitation. If you're worried about the outcome, dying, losing, looking foolish, you hesitate. In his world, a split second of hesitation gets you killed.
So by accepting the worst-case scenario from the start, you're free to just act.
You've burned the boats, there's no retreat, so you only move forward.
Okay, so before he moves on, he gives these 9 precepts for anyone who wants to learn his strategy. And some of these just jump off the page.
Which one stood out to you?
Number 9, do nothing which is of no use.
Ah, my favorite. It sounds so simple.
But it's so hard. It's aggressive minimalism.
It is. In a duel, a useless movement is an opening for your opponent. In life, useless actions are just friction. He's demanding extreme efficiency. If it doesn't get you to the goal, just cut it out.
I also got stuck on pay attention, even to trifles.
The details, the small stuff. A loose sandal strap, the sun in the enemy's eyes. He's saying huge victories are won or lost on these tiny things everyone else ignores.
Okay, so that's the ground. Know your tools, accept the stakes, cut the waste. Now we move to the water book.
Fluidity.
He says the spirit must be like water. It takes the shape of whatever contains it. It can be a tiny trickle or a huge ocean. And this is where he finally gets into his famous style, the Niten Ichiri.
The two-sword style.
Yeah, and again, it's all about pragmatism. He doesn't say use two swords because it looks cool.
No, not at all.
He says it's because holding one big sword with both hands is a huge liability in a real fight.
Exactly. Think about it. You're on a crowded battlefield, you're in a rice paddy, you're indoors, you might need your other hand to grab something to balance, to hold a torch. If your style requires two hands on your sword, you're just limited.
And he drops this line that I absolutely love. He says, "It is false to die with a weapon yet undrawn."
That's the core of his entire philosophy, right there, efficiency. If you carry two swords and you die with one still stuck in your belt, that's a waste.
You can apply that to anything, though. If you have a skill you're not using or a contact you're not calling, you're dying with a weapon undrawn.
Precisely. Use everything you have. Don't leave value on the table.
He also gets really specific about your eyes. He makes a distinction between sight and perception.
And this is crucial. Sight is weak. It's just looking. Perception is strong. It's seeing intent.
He has this phrase that sounds like a riddle. See distant things as if they are close, and close things as if they are distant.
It's all about avoiding tunnel vision. Think about driving a car.
Okay.
If you stare at the bumper of the car right in front of you, seeing the close thing as close, you'll miss the brake lights 3 cars ahead. You're going to crash.
So you need to see the distant traffic pattern like it's right there with you.
Exactly. But you also can't get so lost staring at the horizon that you miss the pothole right in front of you. He calls it a broad gaze. You're not looking at one thing, so you can see everything.
Which leads into his idea about stance. He lists the 5 traditional stances, but then he basically says, forget all of them.
Attitude, no attitude. He says stances are for when you're not moving, but in a real fight, you are always moving.
You don't hold a shape, just like water doesn't.
Right. If you're obsessed with maintaining a perfect upper stance, you become rigid. Your goal is to cut the enemy, not to hold a pretty pose. The sword should just naturally be where it needs to be.
So ground is structure, water is adaptability. Now we get to the fire book, the battle itself.
And the whole tone shifts here. It becomes much more aggressive. This is about timing and dominance.
He has some amazing metaphors. The one that stuck with me was holding down a pillow.
It's such a strange domestic image for something so violent. But if you're holding a pillow down, its head can't rise.
He's saying suppress the enemy the absolute instant they try to move. He even talks about syllables. Check their jump at Jew, not after they've said jump.
You stifle their potential before it even becomes an action. You don't let them complete their thought, their rhythm. It's about interrupting them at the source.
Then there's crossing at a ford.
Which is basically business strategy. It's knowing when the market is right.
So you see your opportunity, the ford, and you go. You don't hesitate in the middle of the river.
No, because the current will sweep you away. You have to be decisive. But my favorite part of the fire book is the psychological stuff. Becoming the enemy.
Ah, this is brilliant. He says we tend to think of a robber holed up in a house as this fortified enemy. We build them up in our heads.
We make them bigger and stronger than they are. We get scared. But Musashi says, flip it. Imagine you're the robber.
And if you're the robber, you're trapped. You're cornered. The whole world is coming to get you. You're the one who's terrified.
Exactly. He's saying, put yourself in your enemy's shoes just long enough to realize that they should be afraid of you. It completely shatters their mystique.
That is such a power move.
And that confidence controls rhythm. Which brings us to his idea of collapse. He says everything has a rhythm, and when you disrupt that rhythm, things fall apart.
And your job is to spot that moment of disruption when they stumble and, as he says, chase him.
And do not let him recover. If your competitor makes a mistake, you don't give them time to breathe. You press the advantage. He is ruthless about this.
He even suggests using noise, the to scolding.
It sounds kind of funny, but it works. A sudden sharp noise startles people. It creates a micropause in their brain, a pattern interrupt. And in that pause, you strike.
So foundation, flow, fire, and now we get to the wind book. And this is where Musashi gets a little snarky.
Oh, absolutely. Wind means the traditions and styles of other schools, and he just roasts them.
He calls them flower sellers.
Yeah. Merchants of flowers, yeah. He says they're just selling flashy techniques that look good but have no substance. All flowers, no nuts.
And he really goes after the schools that use extra long swords.
He hates it. He says relying on the length of your weapon shows a weak spirit.
Because you're depending on the tool, not your skill.
Exactly. What happens when you get into a close quarters fight? That long sword is a liability. He thinks you should be able to win with anything, a short blade, a fan, whatever.
He also mocks their footwork, floating foot, jumping foot.
He thinks it's all for show. He says you should walk in a duel the exact same way you walk down the street, treading foot, never lose contact with the ground, just walk.
And then the biggest surprise for me, he attacks speed. He literally says speed is not part of the true way of strategy.
It's so counterintuitive, isn't it? We always think faster is better, but Musashi says being fast just means you're out of rhythm.
Like you're flailing.
You're flailing. Think of a master surgeon. They don't look like they're rushing. They look almost slow, but they're so efficient with no wasted motion that they're done before the person who is frantically rushing.
Speed is a panic response. Timing is control.
That's it, exactly.
Okay, so that brings us to the final scroll, the Book of the Void. And this one is short, it's abstract, and it's a little confusing.
It's the hardest part to grasp. It's where the strategy becomes, well, almost spiritual.
He defines void by saying, by knowing things that exist, you can know that which does not exist.
Yeah.
Which, okay, thanks for that, Musashi.
Right. It's the ultimate draw the rest of the owl instruction. But think about the progression. Ground is the rules. Water is adapting the rules. Fire is applying them. Wind is getting rid of the bad rules.
So void is forgetting the rules entirely.
It's internalizing them so deeply they cease to exist in your conscious mind. It's like learning a new language. At first, you're constantly thinking about grammar. That's ground and water.
But eventually you just speak.
Mhm.
You're not thinking about the rules. The words just come out.
That is the void. The technique has disappeared because it's now just a part of you. You strike without thinking, I am going to strike now. The clouds of bewilderment, as he calls them, are gone.
He has that beautiful line about polishing the twofold spirit, heart, and mind, and the twofold gaze, perception, and sight.
And that polishing never stops. The void isn't a place you arrive at. It's a state of constant clarity.
So let's bring it all together. This is a framework for mastery.
It's a clear progression. You start with ground. Know your reality, know your resources.
Then water. Be flexible. Adapt to the situation.
Then fire. Master your timing. Know when to press, when to hold back.
Then wind. Critically examine your own methods. Cut out what's useless. Am I doing this because it works or because it's just how I've always done it?
Are these flowers or nuts?
Right. And finally, void. You aim for that state of effortless, natural execution.
It's a masterclass in discipline. There's a line he wrote that I think sums it all up. Today is victory over yourself of yesterday. Tomorrow is your victory over lesser men.
That's powerful. The internal victory has to come first. Beating the other guy is just a side effect.
Precisely.
So here's our question for you to think about. In the ground book, Musashi told us to pay attention even to trifles, because the small things decide the big things. What is the trifle, that tiny detail in your work, your habits, your relationships, that you are ignoring today?
Find that trifle, and you might just find the way.
Thanks for listening to this deep dive into the Book of Five Rings. Go polish your spirit. We'll catch you next time.